Hey, what's up, beautiful people? This is your girl, SaCola Lehr, here, your trusted real estate advisor. In this special episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a recording that was done a couple of years ago as I sat down and I spoke with my friend, Varney Jallah, the president and CEO of Total Structured Solutions. And we sat down and had a great conversation on some of the quickest ways to boost and build your personal credit score, and also some of the myths out there that we're dispelling that you should stay away from and just be on the lookout for. So stay tuned to this particular episode. Welcome to Work It, Live It, Own It, a show that explores how to upgrade your lifestyle through life lessons, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Here's your hostess, SaCola Lehr. We're going to break this meeting or conversation up into credit repair, down payment assistance, and giving you the broad strokes about the home buying process. So we're going to go ahead and start with you, Barney.
Thank you so much, SaCola, for that great introduction. Like SaCola said, my name is Varney Jallah. I'm the founder, owner of Structured Credit Solutions. I'm also the author of this amazing book that's available on Amazon, The Not So Secret Guide to Boost Your Credit Score. And so I'm just going to go right into it. I just want to share with you guys tonight just a quick presentation on how you guys can, the fastest way you guys can boost your scores, how you have full control over 550 points. So I'm just going to break down the different factors, how your scores are calculated, and each one of those factors, I'm going to show you how many points is in that category and how you can take full advantage of those points. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. Do you guys know that 80% of your life's biggest decision will be determined by your credit score? Okay, if you're applying for a job, 29 out of 50 states will check your credit score. If you're applying for a mortgage, the determining factor if you're going to get approved for that mortgage will be your credit score. If you're applying for an auto loan, they're going to check your credit score. If you're a business owner trying to get capital for your business, your credit score will be the determining factor. So I want you guys to remember this tonight, okay? 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10. So Cole, if you can put that in the comment field for us. 35, 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10. 35.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10. Okay. 35% of your score, guys, is based on your payment history. Okay. So in that particular category, you have 192.5 points. Okay. So now I'm going into it on each category, how you guys can gain 550 points. You have full control over these points, not the credit bureaus, not the system, not the man. You guys have full control over these 550 points. Okay, so 35% of your scores is based on payment history. You have 192.5 points in this category. Okay, so simply, I want you guys to do this to take advantage of the 492.5 points in that category. I want you guys to take out a piece, get you a paper, write down all your bills. If you have credit cards, if you have student loans, if you have auto loans, anything that you're making a monthly payment on, I want you to write that down. I want you to contact the banks and set up an auto payment to have these payments come out of your checking account or come out of your checking account every month to make sure that you're not missing any payments. And the reason why I recommend that you guys set this up on auto payment, again, life can happen. You can be on vacation, you don't have access to internet, anything can happen where you forget to make your payment. And I think client score drop anywhere between 60 to 90 points or even 120 points just from a late payment. You can have a 700 credit score with one late payment. Guess what? If you're trying to apply for a mortgage, if you have one late payment on there, the banks will actually have you wait 6 months to a year. Okay. So to make sure that you take full advantage of that 192.5 points in that category, 35% of your scores, simply set up all your monthly payments on auto payment. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to the next part of your scores, which is 30%, which is utilization. Okay, utilization is 30% of your score. You have 165 points in this category. Okay, I'm pretty sure me and SaCola can go get into it later on different myths that's out there. But make sure when it comes down to utilization, utilization is involved with your revolving credit, which is your credit cards. Okay, you want to make sure that you keep your credit card utilization under 10%. Okay, I know there's some myths out there saying, hey, it's 30%, but you're actually leaving a lot of points on the table. You want to make sure that you keep your utilization under 10%. And here's how you guys can do that, okay? So for example, let's say you have a credit card, the limit on that card is $1,000, okay? The most you can put on that card would be $100. Anything over that will definitely start to pull your scores down. And here's how you can make sure that you're keeping your utilization under 10%. And every month, the banks will report that your utilization is under 10%. You want to contact your credit card company, right? I want you guys to remember these 2 dates, your statement date and your due date. Okay, so Cole, if you can put that in the comment field for me, your statement date and your due date, okay? Your statement date, they also call it your statement date, your reporting date, your closing date. You can usually find this date on your credit card statement, or you can simply contact your credit card company and say, hey, what day of the month do you guys report to the credit bureaus? And this is very, very important, guys. Contact your credit card company, say, what day of the month do you guys report to the credit bureaus? Okay, if the credit card company come back and say, hey, we report to the credit bureaus on the 15th of every month, you want to make sure that your credit card utilization is under 10%, because that's the day, the statement date is what they use to calculate your credit score. Your due date is what the banks use to calculate how much interest they're going to charge you. Okay, so if your statement date, your closing date, your reporting date is the 15th of every month, make sure your credit card utilization is under 10%, because that's the balance they're going to use to report to the credit bureaus, simply saying, hey, this is Joe Brown balance on the credit card, and that's what they would use to calculate your scores. So that's where those dates are very, very, very important. Okay, your statement date is what they use to calculate your credit score. Your due date is what the banks would use to calculate how much interest they're going to charge you. Once you start carrying your balance from month to month on your credit cards, that's when you start to pay interest. But if you pay off your credit card balance by the due date, you don't have to worry about paying any interest. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next factor of your credit score. 15% is your credit age. Okay, simply if your credit age is 5 years old or 6 years old, there's nothing really much you can do about it. When it comes down to that, it's just one of those things. In that specific category, you have 82 points. That's in that category. It's just one of those things that's simply just going to grow over time. Okay. The next factor we're going to get into will be your credit mix, which is 10% of your scores. You want to make sure you have a nice mix of revolving credit, which is credit cards. You want to make sure you have a nice mix of installment credit, which anything that has a fixed payment. It can be your auto loan, it can be your student loan, it can be your mortgage, it can be a personal loan. Anything that has a fixed payment is considered installment credit. Anything that's has a payment that can change from month to month will be revolving credit. You want to make sure you have a nice mix of that. In that category, you have about 55 points that's in that category. Okay. The last and final category will be your inquiries, okay, which is 10% of your scores. Okay, in that category, you have another 55 points that's in that category. You want to make sure that you keep your inquiries to at least 2 to 3 every couple of years. Okay, so what exactly is inquiries? Every time you apply for anything, it could be an auto loan, you can be you're applying for a credit card, you're applying for a mortgage. Anytime the banks have to pull your credit score, that is considered an inquiry. Okay. Another thing out there is I noticed when people do what they call, when you go to the dealership and you're shopping around for a car, and they usually come back the following month, you'll probably see about 10 different inquiries on there. Okay. Don't be alarmed with that. It's just simply those 10 inquiries, it still counts as one inquiry, because the banks or the system, the credit bureaus consider that to be what they call rate shopping. Even if you're shopping for a mortgage, I usually encourage my clients to usually shop around at least to 2 or 3 different lenders. Okay, even though it's going to show up on your credit report as 3 different time they pull your credit score, but as long as you doing that rate shopping within 30 days, it's going to be counted as one inquiry. Okay, so if you take all those different factors in that inquiry section, you have about 55 points. And if you take each one of these sections that I just broke down for you guys will have full control over 550 points. Okay, so I just wanted to do that quick presentation for you guys, just to simply break down these different factors and different things that you guys can do to make sure that you're taking full advantage of that 550 points.
But now you were talking about some of the credit myths out there.
what are some of the most popular credit myths that you've heard that you would like to dispel?
This one, SaCola, is my favorite, and I hear this all the time. Where I usually come across, when I'm doing my consultation, and clients usually say, "Hey, I'm not a fan of credit cards. Credit cards is the devil." But you guys have to remember, revolving credit is 65% of your scores. So if you don't have any revolving credit on your credit report, you'll probably be missing out on a big chunk, about 65% of your scores. Okay, a lot of people think like, hey, if I'm using my debit card, that can help me build credit. If I'm paying my cell phone bill, if I'm paying, my rent, that can also help me build credit as well. But you guys want to make sure, once you can add the revolving piece of it, the revolving credit to your credit report, I've seen client scores jump up 60 to 90 points, even more, simply by them going from not having any revolving credit to adding that revolving credit. And here's a simple thing that you can do. If you don't have any revolving credit, I recommend just go to your local bank, let them know, say, hey, I'm in the process of building my credit. I'd like to apply for a secure card. And the bank will usually ask you to put a deposit down of $200. In return, they'll give you a credit card with a limit of $200, and simply just use that card wisely every month. If you have a $200 limit on there, again, remember the 10% rule. Find you a small subscription like your Netflix, Hulu, Spotify. Simply set up a monthly payment to charge that secure card every month, then set up an auto payment to pay it off every month in full. Okay. And this is the analogy that I usually use when it comes down to how you handle credit cards. Credit card is like a hammer. All right. You can use a hammer to build you something nice, and you can also use a hammer to destroy something. So if you get that secure card and you start maxing it out, you start missing your payments, and you simply just abandon it, your credit score is going to tank. But if you use that card the correct way, okay, like, and simply use the example I just gave you, simply find a small subscription, put it on there, set up auto payment, you can start to see your scores increase from there.
Yeah, you just mentioned, you said 60 to 90 points.
Correct.
Just by getting a small credit card. And I get what some people are saying too, like, I don't want that I don't want that debt. Yeah. I don't want that mishap. So what do you advise? Because I was in college, and I was one of those college students, and credit card companies are out there in the masses, just trying to get young adults who got their first taste of freedom with credit cards. So and sometimes that's gotten people into trouble in the past, because they may have forgotten about something that they did in their school days, and it's still on their credit. Is there any advice that you would give to people who are in that current situation now? First, advice for college students, for students who are about to go off to college pretty soon.
My advice for the students that's about to go off to college, me, myself, I've been there before. I think it simply comes down to just comes down to education. Just, as the parents, simply, be able to educate these kids going off to school, and let them know, hey, listen, this is how, again, this presentation right here alone, just simply understanding how credit score works, how it's calculated, and don't go off and get in all these credit cards. Simply, all you need is one credit card. And again, just simply use it the right way, and simply just put a small subscription on there, and just make sure that you're making these payments every month. By the time you graduate, you might just have you over a 750 credit score. Now you can go ahead and purchase your first home right out of college. You don't have to worry about going out there purchasing an auto loan and you're paying 20 something percent. And this is something that I see all the time, SaCola, where me personally, I did it when I graduated college. I just felt as though I have to treat myself to something. And a lot of times we go out there, we would get these auto loans and we're paying 20 something percent. And again, it simply just comes down to just education. So my advice to kids that's going off to college, if you go ahead and get you at least one credit card, and just be responsible with it. Just remember, the statement date and the due date. Make sure that if you just want to put a small subscription on there, set it up to pay it every month, and just make sure, and it's pretty much just leave it alone. You don't have to worry about, going out maxing it out. Once you start doing that, and now you don't have enough money to pay for it, by the time you graduate, now your credit score is tanked, and you pretty much have to start that rebuilding stage all over again.
Okay. Well, would you say it's wise enough to say, if the student doesn't have a job and the parents can't afford to make that payment, they probably need to hold off until they get a job to get a credit card?
Yep.
Yeah. So guys, so you guys heading off to college, listen, if you are not going to have a job to pay off the minimum payment or the payments that Varney is suggesting, and your parents can back you up or support you in this, then
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now, don't do it. I don't care how much free t-shirts, cups, and everything they throw at you.
Don't
Don't
do it.
do it. Don't sign up for the credit cards. And for someone who's in this situation right now, who's currently in this situation right now, what advice would you have to give if something that or debt that they may have acquired caught up with them from back in the day?
The first thing I recommend, SaCola, would be take a look at your credit report. And you would be surprised. A lot of people are just afraid to look at the credit report, and they're just simply like, "Hey, I know my credit is horrible. I don't want to look at it." And another thing, again, we have to be familiar with the consumer laws. Okay, there's a law out there called the FCRA law, and it simply states that everything on your credit report has to be 100% accurate. And I come across a lot of reports, credit reports, where individuals might have a negative account on their report that's outside of that statute of limitation, which is 7.5 years, that's still lingering on their credit report. Now, once you can take a look at your credit report, you see on there like, hey, okay, I know my statute of limitation rights is 7.5 years. This item been on my report for now 8 years. It can be a simple letter you send off to the credit bureau saying, hey, listen, this negative account is outside of the statute of limitation. Can you guys please remove it? And they can simply remove it that way. Okay, so I think the first step would be just simply looking at your credit report, understanding if you guys want, Google the FCRA law, simply look at your credit report, and that's something I can help you guys with. If you guys want to just get a copy of your credit report, schedule a consultation with me, I would take a look at it. And all my consultations, SaCola, I make sure I map out a game plan for that individual. This is how you can improve your credit 60 to 90 points on all my consultations. Okay, so I'll look at the credit report. If you don't feel comfortable looking at your credit report, I'll take a look at it. And if I spot something on there that's outside of the statute of limitations, I'll simply let you know, hey, this is outside of the statute of limitation, or hey, this collection account, if you can pay a percentage of it, they can actually get that removed from your report. So I think that would be the first step, simply taking a look at your credit report. Like I said, a lot of people are just afraid to look at it. If you don't have any revolving account, or if you just don't have any credit at all, use the strategy that I just showed you guys. Go to your bank. If you don't have no collection accounts, nothing on your report, you don't have no credit at all, simply go to your bank, let them know, hey, I want to start building credit. I want to get a secure card. And that one secure card can probably take someone's scores from a 0, probably to like a 680, 650, just something simple as that. Okay, so I think the first step would be get a copy of your credit report. I can leave a link for you guys can actually get a free copy of your credit report. If you guys schedule a call with me, I would actually show you guys how you can get a free copy, and we can simply just just do a review of it.
All right, right. I was going to come on and do a video soon about checking your credit report. If you're thinking about buying your home using something like annualcreditreport.com, that's one of those links that the banks have trusted for so many years. And don't be afraid to look at it, because you never know what could pop up on your credit. I've had people I went to school with, family members, find out that someone has used their social security number, have bought cars, have bought homes. And so when you're thinking about you're about to go out and buy your first home or your car, and then something pops up on your credit and you don't even realize where this came from, that's why it's important for you to do an annual credit check. Just like you file your taxes every year, think of tax season as annual credit report check season. Do that for yourself.
And another thing, so while we're on credit reports, a lot of people use Credit Karma. Credit Karma is actually a great tracking tool. Okay, I'm not a big fan of it, and a lot of you guys know Credit Karma is only giving you 2 scores. Okay, they're giving you your TransUnion and your Equifax, right? So now, so if you're in the process of trying to repair your credit and you're using Credit Karma is going to give you 2 scores. What about the 3rd score that's out there? Now you're not tracking that. And another thing too, a lot of people will use Credit Karma and simply look at the Credit Karma score and say, hey, my score is at a 640. I'm ready to get a mortgage. But guess what? Credit Karma is giving you your vintage scores. Okay. So Credit Karma is giving you vintage scores. So the platform a lot of banks use is your FICO score. So you want to go to myfico.com, pull up your FICO scores from there. and you want to check your FICO 5, your FICO 4, and your FICO 2. Those are the three scores that the mortgage lenders use. Okay, let's just say your FICO 5 is a 680, your FICO 4 it's a 650, and your FICO 2 is a 700. Guess what? They're going to cancel out your lowest score and your highest score. That will leave you with a 650. So that's how before any one of my clients apply for any mortgage, we usually put a FICO 5, 4, and 2. And then from there, that's the same, at least 99% of the lenders, that's what they're using. Okay. Wow. And then from there, that the lenders are using what they call your middle score. So you simply want to cancel out your highest score, your lowest score, and whatever score is left, that's the score they're going to use.
All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this particular episode about your personal credit score and how to build it the quickest way, the most ethical way, and some of the things that you need to be looking out for when it comes to building and boosting your credit score. Now, this episode is going to be followed up by another special episode that was pre-recorded as I sat down and had a conversation with Varney Jallah, but it's going to walk you through some down payment assistance and building your credit when it comes to buying your home and walking you through the home buying process. But you know what? Before I head out, I would love to hear from you. What are some tips and strategies that you have done or have taken action on to build and boost your personal credit? I know for me, it was paying off bills on time in a timely manner, and even making sure that I was cognizant of the type of lines of credit I had out there. Did I have too much revolving credit, also known as credit cards, versus installment loans, such as student loans or personal loans? And also making sure that I paid those things down in a timely manner, as Varney talked about. But if there's any other tips and strategies that you have done, I would love to hear from you. And stay tuned for the next special episode. This was another pre-recorded episode, but it's going to walk you through down payment assistance and the home buying process. So until next week, continue to work it, live it, own it in your everyday lives. Take care, guys. See you next time.